I would like to make a review of this book, which in reality is a very small booklet. Is a kind of interview between Tibor Caroli and the Grandmaster Torres. I believe the book is interesting because there is also a collection of games, but in reality I just want to see some of the games of Grandmaster Torre and enjoy them and see if from this kind of view is better for the videos. Okay, so nothing really special going on. So the first game is Eugenio Torre and Estimo in Manila in 1968. Who knows how was Manila in the time? I like history, I like to see pictures of old times, old pictures. I find them kind of interesting, and I'm sure Manila was a very interesting city. So it starts with a Sicilian, with FC knight f3, e6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, a6. Interesting, it already blocks there. Bishop d3, knight f6, knight c3, queen c7, a typical move in the Sicilian because it tends to attack white if he castles on the queen side. f4, bishop b4, bishop d2, d6, knight queen f3, and knight b d7. As we can see, white is not throwing himself right away into castle. He's waiting a second and see what's going on. Okay, and now he finally castle. Yeah, castle, beautiful. And h5. Now here h5 is put a question mark, which means that probably it's a mistake. Black sets up a trap, but he himself will fall into it. And instead, eventually, if you like to learn something from watching this game, try to pause here the video, try to think what you would have played as black, and then of course I will tell you the move that is written here. It says bishop c5 is the move that black should have played instead of h5. So now, however, put yourself in white shoes, in Grandmaster Torre, and what would you play if you were white? Because you see, in the book there is a diagram, and when there is a diagram, that's why in a sense we need books, because sometimes from videos or other sources maybe you don't get the same idea, but here the idea is clear. When the author of the book puts a diagram, it's because he wants to put your attention on that. So I hope you found the right move. Knight c b5, great move, right? Torre's opponent may have been happy that the young player notices his chances, but Estimo hoped to outcalculate his opponent. A takes b5, bishop takes b4, and queen b6. Black played for this pin. It wins the d4 knight. However, black is underdeveloped. The intermediate sequence, queen rook f4 and f3 makes no difference. Okay. So let's see what happens. So c3, e5, because this is pin, f takes e5, d takes e5, and obviously king h1. At a certain point you want to take it away, right? It seems it was possible also to play this, and here the author gives a line on this to prove that it was a good move too, okay? E takes d4, and let me pause here. Okay, let's continue here. So he played f5, king h1, e takes d4. And now white has another important move. Also here there is a diagram. Tibor Karolin is in fact an author that has written many books, so he knows where to put the diagrams. The move is e5. This is the motive. Torre had to see in advance, and his opponent probably just stopped his calculation at the point when he wins the d4 knight. It makes the pawn move especially nice since the pawn is unprotected and it is far from the end of the tactics. Knight takes e5, rook a, e1, and queen e6. This is the only move here. Bishop takes b5, king d8. Now, this is not good because queen takes b7 wins, obviously, okay? So, or an fd7, it's won by queen g3, king d8, and c takes d4, and white wins. Let's watch 1 second more this line. So, if he plays this, queen b7, it's a win. And you can say why? Because also if you protect here, then how do you save from this? I don't know, it doesn't make much sense. Yeah. Okay, so let's return back. I think it was here, right? So it played this move, king d8. And now there is queen f4. Torre remains alert. If he had calculated all the way to here, it's remarkable. This is probably more accurate. Okay. There is nothing wrong with pinning the knight from the other square on the diagonal, but white still has an obstacle to overcome. Okay, so it seems queen f4. So let's see what happens here. Knight f g4, c takes d4. Black is pinned and this king is far too open, and white has many more pieces in play in order to save the game. I think when you see many games, you start to notice some patterns. This thing of a king in the center is a pattern in good part of this rising grandmaster. One can notice it also in Kasparov. He has some beautiful games where he exploited the king in the center of the enemy and he won like in 25 moves. So it's kind of interesting that we see this happening over and over in these young grandmasters. So after c takes d4, black plays queen b6 and try to analyze what happens after queen d5. There is d takes e5, queen takes b5, and queen takes f7, and white wins. Okay. Queen b6, a4, bishop d7, d takes e5. Black played on, but of course it is in vain. Bishop takes b5, a takes b5, rook a4, pinning, rook d1, king c8, rook c1, king b8, e6, check, king a8, e takes f7, knight f6, rook a1, rook a7, f8, queen. That's why you needed to buy a chess set with 4 queens, because this thing happens all the time. rook takes f8 and bishop takes f8 and white wins. I hope you enjoyed this game. I will show other games of Grandmaster Torre because I really like his style and I want to know him more as a chess player. I hope you will enjoy it too.